cast and crew on the making of The Rock after the break.
I storyboard about half in terms of an action sequence. I'll storyboard the whole thing, but 50% of it I get inspired on the set. So I like to leave that open for, you know, when I shoot, trying to come up with new things. And, you know, when you work with the characters and the actors, it's just what would be good for the character, what can we make this scene, what can we do to make the scene better. I read about a story in San Francisco when I was coming up with the car chase. I read about a story about tourists were basically thrown from a cable car, and I'm like, wow, we should do something with a cable car. Let's blow it up. I told the studio, and they kind of flipped, you know, but that's kind of the deal. You kind of wheel them in, say, you've never seen this in a movie before.
We tried to figure out a way to blow the cable car. I mean, I worked with an artist in special effects, and we tried to figure out a way we could blow this cable car without blowing all the windows out of every house in San Francisco. They hate when that happens. And we ended up blowing the cable car with nitrogen canisters inside the cable car.
Sean did a lot of the scenes, and I mean, I even got him underwater, holding his breath with a 60-foot fireball coming over him. And he's like, "You sure this is not going to burn my hair off?"
There were some scary moments. You know, there was one place where Sean and I were in a pool, and there were like 5 burners that had flame in them and gas, and you know, we were under the water. If we'd come up when the flames went off, we would have been fried, and it got a little nerve-wracking.
Nick's a little studied, and he's like, "Okay, you sure it's not going to burn my hair off too? All right." And so then, you know, Nick was a little easier to get under the water to hold his breath. But no, he wanted to throw his body around because, you know, he's been working out a lot. I know they really respected each other as actors. You know, I think Nick was a little unsure at first with Sean, but they got along great, and there's something about their chemistry. I mean, it was kind of the thing that I had with Bad Boys with Martin and Will. There's something really unique about these two guys, and that's why people are saying, like, "Ooh, there could be a sequel." Sean's got a good sense of humor, and I knew what we were going to do if we did get Sean in terms of changing the character, and he made it much more international, and I think he brings the perfect, I mean, this is one of the great action stars of our time, and he hasn't been in an action movie in a long time, and I think there's something very hip. You know, there's a big resurgence of Bond, and, you know, this guy comes back with a vengeance, and Nick Cage is just the everyday, ordinary guy on the mission from hell. And what I like about him as a character, he's got this quirky side to him. He's a guy who collects old Beatle LPs, all right? He doesn't swear. He's not your typical heroic stud.
And how did he feel about throwing the Ferrari around?
He's got a Ferrari, but I shouldn't say that.
B marker. Ready? And action!
Oh my God. Oh no, no!